Hi, you can call me Dawn, and I'm a Neopagan. I thought I would create this video as sort of an addition to the other religious discourse that could be found on YouTube, in particular, like the religious discourse left on here by atheists. Neopagans are almost criminally underrepresented in the YouTube community. And when I created this video, I actually looked up um, videos about neopaganism to see what other neopagans had to say about it. And for the most part, it's mostly just Wicca-centric. I'm not a Wiccan, and I know that, neopagans like me aren't very well represented. So I thought, why not? Why not create this video? I mean, a lot of people don't even know what neopaganism is, how it relates to the larger discourse. Excuse me. The larger discourse around religion. And maybe it's important that we get these conversations started. So, yeah. One question that I get a lot as a neopagan is what is neopaganism and is it different from Wicca? So, the term neopaganism is sort of like an umbrella term, and underneath it are multiple belief systems and lifestyles, including Wicca, Hellenism, heathenry, Radnavri. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that. Sorry. Each branch is different. Not every neopagan practices magic. Not every Wiccan practices magic. And if they do practice magic, the magic that they typically practice is very different from the magic that most people are familiar with as cornerstones of the fantasy genre. Magic, the practice, is more similar to the idea of prayer than it is to anything else. I'm an eclectic polytheist. I used to be a Hellenist, full disclosure. I used to focus primarily on Hellenic deities, which are Greek and Roman deities, with a specific focus on Greek deities. At one point, I was devoted to Hades. That was a really weird time in my life. I'm just not even gonna lie. Now, I'm devoted to the Morrigan. Although I'm not an expert on the Morrigan, so I probably won't discuss a whole lot of my relationship with the Morrigan on this YouTube channel. If you want to go look up the Morrigan, go look for one of the big name pagans who worship the Morrigan. I'll link some down below, but before I do that, I especially want to discuss, want to recommend Laura O'Brien, who is one of the big name neopagans in the Morrigan community. Morgan Daimler? Daimler? No. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she wrote the book on the Morrigan, so it'll be spelled properly in the description, so go look her up. And you can also go look up Koru Kathabodwa. Again, mangling the shit out of that pronunciation, but go look them up, they're great. Please do not direct your questions to me because I'm not going to be able to answer them. My relationship with the Morrigan is not very long-lived. I don't know. It became very clear this past November that she wanted me to be one of her pupils, I guess. It's hard to describe what she wanted from me. But I can't say that I'm ever going to be the kind of scholar that Laura is or the kind of writer that Morgan is. So if you want to go look up the Morrigan, go look up the Morrigan. I'm a Neopagan because, and this is going to sound very weird, but it's because of, like, the things that I've experienced and the things that I value. I was raised in a Christian home for a large portion of my life. And one thing I noticed as a Christian operating inside Christianity is that a lot of Christians value things like order and unity over things like the literal truth. They want to believe in a higher power because it adds order to their lives. They want to believe in a just world because they're afraid of a world that isn't just. And a lot of Christians are willing to bury their heads in the sand in order to avoid the fact that the world isn't just and that there really isn't a whole lot of order and unity outside of the order and unity that humans build. So, and a lot of people leave Christianity because they don't value order and unity as much as they value other things. Like, a lot of atheists value things like intelligence, truth, and reason, and logic. They're driven by the need to know things and the need to respond to things as they actually are, rather than how we want them to be. I think a lot of atheists become atheists when they discover evolutionary theory and realize that the Christians in power, who, again, value order and unity, have refused to question their ideas at the detriment of the entire human race, which is enough to disillusion anyone. I mean, that's not the only thing that Christianity has done, but it's a start. I'm a Neopagan because I value humanity's ability to create and nurture, and I value the cultures we've built in our continued pursuit of the truth. Like, for instance, what a lot of people don't know is that Christianity has decimated a lot of quote-unquote pagan cultures. Although, don't call these cultures pagan because they're not pagan, because they don't want to be called pagan. Like, just so you know. I'm half Native American, sorta. It's complicated, but but regardless, I'm very familiar with the way that Christianity has destroyed Native American culture. I'm very aware of the fact that a lot of ancestral Native American faiths were like, I'm trying to think of the word for it. They were made illegal, is basically what I'm trying to say. And a lot of Native American people were arrested or killed for practicing their faiths. And I think, and when I apostatized from Christianity, I had to look at that. I had to look at Christianity's role in destroying things that I consider to be beautiful. I think that the stories that humanity has created are important because they're things we've created. And I don't know if the gods predate their myths, but I think that's kind of beside the point. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Which came first? If the chicken came first, does it change the fact that the egg is here? Can we really know which one came first? Did the gods come first? Did humanity come first? Does it really matter? I don't think it does. And, like, people also sort of forget that science has to accommodate for the unknown. They forget that things like the placebo effect exist, that the field of theoretical physics is a giant question mark because there are things we don't understand about the world we live in. They forget that even things like evolution almost rely upon gods to sort of make things exist, if that makes any sense. Like, there are theories that a big part of what makes us human is our ability to ask questions and then come up with answers for it. Like, that our brains evolved specifically because we told these stories to one another. So given all of that, my beliefs aren't so strange, especially when you consider like other scientific realities in the world that we live in. Although that will be the subject of another video. I've been asked by a lot of people, because I kind of live in a very like evangelical heavy area, like, do I worship Satan? And my first reaction is to say no, I don't worship Satan. But then there are people who do worship Satan, and people who like call themselves Satanists but don't worship Satan, who are really important to the Neopagan community, and I'm trying very hard not to throw them under the bus, because it's important to delineate the idea of Satan that comes from Christianity from the idea of Satan that comes from Judaism, which is very different, and then those ideas of Satan from the ideas of Satan held by other people, specifically the idea of Satan held by the Church of Satan, the idea of Satan held by the Satanic Temple, and the idea of Satan held by theistic Satanists. They're all different, and out of all of them, nobody worships like the evil person in the Bible who is named Satan. The Church of Satan largely advocates for a form of Satanism called atheistic Satanism, or LaVeyan Satanism. And like you can read on their website, they basically say that gods were created by humanity, and that the cosmos is indifferent to the existence of human beings who are carnal animals. The Satanic Temple doesn't advocate for an ideology at all. If anything, they're an organization focused on fighting for religious freedom in places that are besieged by an evangelical presence. In both cases, their names are mostly about setting themselves up as the opposition to evangelical Christianity, not about any ideological bent one way or the other. I don't know enough about theistic Satanism to say anything one way or the other, but a lot of the people I have met who are theistic Satanists don't worship Satan as he is in the Bible. Luciferians, in particular, tend to worship Satan as a kind of Prometheus figure, since his name literally means light bearer. I need time to do research about it, so I'm probably going to make a much longer video about this. But all the same, Satanists aren't bad. Satan worship is not bad. The only thing bad is shoving your beliefs down people's throats. I don't sacrifice babies. That's illegal. And also evil. I'm kind of concerned about the birth of people who believe that Neopagans and Satanists sacrifice babies. We don't. We just get together and drink wine and sometimes strip, depending on the nature of the ritual we're doing. I do sort of believe in astrology in the same way that I believe in magic. I believe that astrology can be used as a self-improvement tool to help people acknowledge and understand their own flaws. But I don't believe in divination as an exact science, and I don't believe in divinations, like, in the idea that divination can help. I'm trying to figure out a way to phrase this. I don't believe that divination can tell the future. That's how I'm trying to say this. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I fully support Western medicine. I don't cast curses, only because I'm bad at magic. Like, let's be real, I'm just pretty terrible at it. But aside from the neo-paganism, because it's only one part of my identity, I'm a big nerd. I like watching cooking videos on YouTube. For instance, Jun Yoshizuki at JunsKitchen is one of my favorite YouTubers. I watch all his videos as soon as he posts them. I love reading and participating in discourse, though I've been trying to do less of the latter because I have a tendency to speak before I think, and I've kind of hurt people's feelings and, like, tread on some unknown societal ills. I'm a huge gamer. My next video is going to be a Let's Play of me playing Final Fantasy VIII, which used to be my favorite Final Fantasy game. And, come on, Izzy, Mandy Arch. I have a cat. I love her more than anything. You don't like that I picked you up, do you? See, look at my cat. Could you please just, like, focus for the camera, girl? Yeah, Izzy's not happy with me. At any rate, it's nice to meet you, and I hope this video was helpful. This is going to be, like, part 1 of a multi-part series. I hope you have a nice Tuesday.